What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, and so far the Houston Rockets have looked really good this postseason. It's a young postseason, all right. They lead their best of seven series with the Utah Jazz 2-0. I mean, at this point, I think Houston probably going to win this series. I'm guessing 4-1. Um, I think Utah might win one of those games at Utah, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that Houston might sweep this series. Houston just seems like a team right now that's really on a mission. Okay, I think they feel like they were denied their destiny last year uh, due to having one of the worst shooting performances in the history of the NBA in Game Seven, and being without Chris Paul last year in those last two pivotal games. I think that they really feel like they can do it. I don't know if they can. I mean, Golden State does look somewhat vulnerable, um, but we'll see. But I want to talk about James Harden. Now, yeah, as you guys have known, I've been a James Harden critic. You know what I'm saying? I don't dislike the guy at all. I'm not a fan of the way he plays. That's just my personal opinion. Um, but I have to give him credit on his performance so far in the playoffs. He is averaging a triple double. Um, he is scoring in a way where it's not just James Harden just jacking up, a lot of shots and it's taken away from the offense. Um, Utah's playing him a certain way, and he's being extraordinarily productive in that way. That he's taking what the defense is giving him, and he's being extraordinarily productive. Um, right now, he's shooting the highest percentage. I know it's a small sample size, but he's shooting the highest percentage that he's shot in the playoffs in 8 years. Um, his effective field goal percentage is the highest it's been in the playoffs in 8 years. His 3-point percentage, like I said, it's a small sample size, but his 3-point percentage right now is the highest it's ever been in the playoffs. Now, I don't know if he can continue that or not. We'll see. Um, but he's performing brilliantly right now, and I know that James Harden is aware of the criticisms of him about his performance in the playoffs, and particularly his performance later and down the stretch in the playoffs. Now, um, one of the things I've read that different in his regimen this far is how he take care of his body. His head coach Mike D'Antoni says that James Harden has eaten differently. Um, this particular year, he's been working on his body, working out, and trying to do everything he can to increase his endurance this particular playoffs, because I guess it has been acknowledged, and he acknowledges that down the stretch in some years, exhaustion did play a role in his quote unquote choking. I mean, you can't make excuses. You're supposed to get the job done. There are reasons for why certain things happen, but you know, be it as it may, whether or not he was exhausted or whatever, down the stretch in some pivotal playoffs, he didn't show up. And Houston Rocket fans are hoping that that doesn't happen this year. I'm gonna tell you guys something. Even though I'm not a big James Harden fan, I'm an even bigger Warriors hater. Okay, now I've said in the past I'm a New England Patriots hater by far. Okay, that's my number one nemesis. You will rarely, if any time ever, hear me say anything good about the New England Patriots. Now, I'm a Golden State Warriors hater, but at least with the Warriors, I can uh, I can mask my hatred toward them. You know what I mean? Like I can acknowledge, yes, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter and the greatest 3-point shooter I've ever seen. Yes, Klay Thompson is one of the great playoff clutch performers I've ever seen. Um, Kevin Durant's one of the greatest players ever. Okay, and this Golden State Warriors team is the best team in the past. I guess you could say they are the dynasty or close to it in the 2000 teens. I mean, you can make an argument for the Miami Heat, but they didn't win enough championships. They went to 4 consecutive NBA Finals. They won 2 championships, but the Warriors have outdid them with 3 NBA championships, and they're working on a fourth in this decade. So there's that. But James Harden, it's impressive. But the thing is, will he be able to sustain this as we get later into the playoffs, in the semifinals, and if they're lucky, into the conference finals? That's what we'll have to see. But tell me what you guys think, man, about James Harden so far. Do you guys think he'll be able to sustain his level of play? Um, Particularly, I guess, on the offensive end, because that's what people pay to see him do is score. Interestingly enough, James Harden has not recorded a steal so far in the playoffs. So there's that. It's a guy that averaged 2 steals a game, I think, in the regular season. Um, but anyway, do you think that James Harden will be able to sustain his offensive production throughout the playoffs? And do you think Houston's going to win this series? I think they're going to win at least 4-1. But tell me what you guys think.